Welcome to the Ignorance is Strength podcast. I'm your host, Fabian motherfucking Ojeda, and I don't know shit, but that's okay. All right, let's get this shit started. Thank you everybody for listening to the Ignorance is Strength podcast. Hope you all enjoyed episode number 54 with good friend Whitey. He'll be back on for sure. And we'll let you know how that bachelor party goes. I have a feeling we're going to sneak one in there for you guys. But we're back today with a familiar guest returning for her second stint on the show. And this time I don't have to mess up her name because she pretty much changed it to Victoria Cat. How you doing, Victoria?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. And I thought I figured out last time just how to say it properly, but it was after the show. But I'm not even going to try it. Now we have an easier way of identifying you, and it's Victoria Cat. I like that a little more. It's easier for me.
Word, I like it too. So much better. So everybody can look that up if they want to.
Right. Yeah. It's easier. So thank you for joining us again today. I let you know at the end of the last episode you did. I like to have people come back on, almost like recurring co-hosts, right? I'm a little I don't want to say guest because then after a while it's like, hey, it's your pretty much your show too,
Thanks.
Yeah, for sure. What we'll do is we'll check in a little bit, just how you received the last episode, how people, anybody talk to you about it if they listened. We'll catch up people on what you're doing now, and we're gonna do some MMA talk. I know you're big on that, and there's been some interesting things going on in the whole MMA fight world recently, and I really want to get your opinion on those. So how's that sound?
Oh, for sure. I am down for that.
All right. So first and foremost, you a couple months ago you on the podcast, and the big topic there that I wanted to explore was the whole world of OnlyFans, right? We did some MMA as well, but how did you listen to it back, and how did you think it went? Did you enjoy it? You think you could have said more, or you think I didn't really care for it?
I did watch it back. I just thought that I should have been more open and whatever that word is, or I should have been louder. I felt like I was, not that loud. So I don't know. I feel like I could definitely, the more comfortable I get, I could definitely be more fun.
Yeah. Well, I've noticed that on your YouTube streams, I think in your early ones, you were a little more quiet, reserved.
Right. That's what I want.
And now you got your personality out there, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's just because I wasn't sure. I thought I was cringe. So I was okay, I just gotta just get comfortable with it, and then people will like the real personality that I do have.
Mm-hmm. I know since you do those solo, it's kind of I'm impressed with the energy you're able to keep up, because I did my first little solo episode when I was doing the the year end kind of recap, and we just did a year of the podcast, and so because of scheduling and timing, I had to do it on my own. And it was a little awkward for me. I'm like, dang, I don't like just talking to myself. How do you do it?
I don't know. I just kind of pretend like I'm talking to my best friend. My best friend, she'll just let me sit there and chit chat for an hour and barely say anything. So I just imagine I'm talking to her. And it works well.
Did anybody, I know you try to kind of sort of keep things, separate and rightfully so. You want to keep your worlds apart as much as possible, but did anyone listen to the podcast?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I know people checked it out, but I don't think nobody watched the full thing.
Did or any of your followers or fans there, did anybody give you any feedback on that?
Yeah, I got a couple. Some people did reach out and they were like, yeah, I heard you on this podcast or whatever, and then they wanted to follow me. I was like, dope.
It's pretty cool. I think it was mutually beneficial, because I did get some new people subscribing, and I think it was kudos to you, because I'm like, they're people that were into like MMA or, it was a lot of dudes, but I'll take it, whatever, you know?
Yeah, my audience range, it's like 86% men and then like 13% women on my Instagram. So
Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh,
tailor to the audience, right?
I'm like, so the stats, you've been looking at them.
Oh yeah, of course. I've known that forever.
Nice. Yeah. I definitely got a lot of feedback on it. A lot of people, were kind of shocked at the story you told about dude like a dude at an elementary school doing his thing.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Sorry.
I'm like, yeah, that's kind of, it's kind of creepy, man. I mean, it was cool to hear some of those stories. And or like the dude talking about, you wanted to see your scars and bleeding and all that stuff. I'm like,
oh yeah.
So it was definitely some insight into like the kind of messages or interactions that you have on there. But how's that going so far? I mean, has business picked up? Same old, same old. I know you, from what I've seen on Instagram, you've been kind of like climbing the ranks there, right? On
Sure.
the OnlyFans.
Yeah, like I've been chilling within top 5% for like the past couple months.
Mhm.
I got this random dude. He asked me if he could like post me on the Reddit page. So then I got a lot of like traffic from that as well. And then plus Instagram, I keep getting shared from MMA cheeks and stuff like that, right? And then I just keep getting more followers from other people sharing me. So that's pretty dope. I mean, I made a little bit more than I have in the past couple of months, so that's dope as well. What was the other question? You asked me something else.
No, just basically that, give an update on as to how you're doing on there, um, which you pretty much answered. But did I did have one listener who had a pet peeve that you kept using the word coin.
I'm sorry, I'm a hood rat. Okay, I can't help it. I just talk hood like that all the time.
I think they could make a drinking game out of that episode of how many times you said making coin. Right?
Oh my lord. Okay.
Now it's funny because when you listen to yourself back, you're like, damn, I said that way too many times.
I know I have an issue with saying like a lot. I have teenage girl syndrome, clearly.
I think, I could definitely pick mine out. I say, a lot, or, little transition words like that. I have a friend who always, uses the phrase or whatever. And when you catch yourself, it's really funny. But I thought I'd mention that. I'm like, I'll give you the positive and the negative feedback there. But yeah, one person was very annoyed that you were using the phrase coin over and over again. But if you want to throw in coin again, I think that would be fun.
I mean, I will try not to use it. I mean, honestly, like I didn't really notice that I said it a lot. I say it a lot in my YouTube videos. So like I will try to just say money this time.
I mean, that must be a Canadian thing, right?
I don't know. To be honest, like it's just like my few hood rat friends that say it. So
how, since you are in Canada, I'll take the opportunity to check in. Like, how are you guys doing over there in the whole pandemic? Are things opening up yet? Or, I mean, are you guys still like super locked down?
well, I don't know about the rest of Canada because I don't really pay attention. But for my city, Calgary, we're on our third lockdown, and that just went in effect like a couple days ago. So,
so
that sucks. Yeah, like my gym's not opening up probably for like another few months here. Like, I don't even know when they're even planning to lift restrictions, but you can't even go outside in public and all that. Like, I don't remember all the little restrictions, but there's like a lot of rules and a lot of things are closed, and it's just ridiculous.
What are you guys doing wrong over there? I'm like, because in California, which California has been very strict, but we finally started to open up, gyms, and at like at least 25% capacity, indoor dining, theaters, schools are back in person. But
Wow.
that's kind of crazy because we're like super strict here, and I assumed you guys would be kind of on par with what we're doing, but
I guess everybody wants to fuck around because, like, literally, all the kids that are, I think it's grade 7 to grade 12, they all have to do homeschooling or like do their school from home. And then the 1 to 6 or K to 6, they'll go into class. But yeah, it's ridiculous. I think everybody's just, they're like, I'm over it, fuck it. And then everybody wants to just like partay and then just ruins it for everyone.
Are you guys like getting vaccinated over there yet or no?
Yeah, there's lots of people. My parents have already been vaccinated, but I haven't because my age group has not been called yet.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you guys will catch up. But I just wanted to check in on that because I'm like, man, that must suck. It's like still,
Word. It's the third one in like past year.
Yeesh.
Word.
We'll pray for Canada. But moving on, or for Calgary.
Word.
Right? But moving on, you've got a new project going on, and I was a little surprised at it because I thought last time we talked, you were kind of like not on board with something like that. But well, I'll let you tell us. What's your new project going on?
Okay, so like I recently signed up for PornHub because I literally had my ex stalker. He was like literally sending me hate messages and like just constantly like stalking me and like just sending nasty messages and like leaving nasty comments on all of my platforms and shit like that. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go out and just do the most like wildest shit. And I'm going to do this and then see if he has anything to say about it. And he unblocked me. I'm like, he's trying to creep. But like literally, I just did it because I'm like, all fucks are out the window. Like, why not make some extra coin as well? Like, I don't know. I feel like you could get more exposure on Pornhub because it's just free, right? So everybody has access to it. Well, the people that do have access. And like, I just feel like it's an easier way to get more exposure.
I see. Yeah, I was under the impression that like, that wasn't your thing. But from from what I've seen, it kind of is your thing. Because all right, check it out. Like I didn't like I explained last time. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm a supportive person. I'd love to support what you're doing, but I'm not gonna put like myself in a position where I'm like, I gotta put my bank account in, and they're gonna look at me like a pervert because I'm adult stuff. Like I don't know if you ever watched the cartoon King of the Hill, but I was afraid of being like,
oh yeah,
like Hank Hill when they accused him of like not returning a porno tape or whatever. But, but I was like, I'd love to support, but yeah, I don't think I can do that. So I didn't really see what you had on there. And then you're like, hey, check out the Pornhub. I'm like, oh yeah, same thing. You know what? I'll check it out, whatever. And the first thing I see on there, I'm like, whoa, I'm like, I thought I don't know if I was just being naive, but I thought it was a little, you did more like solo stuff, like like hardcore. Right?
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm just trying to go all out, get the best angles, the best types of shots, just so that other people can enjoy it and then share me,
Was that something that you put on your OnlyFans, like I guess like partner stuff like that?
I did, but only like for a month, and then the dude told me to take it down because he broke up with me, and then he wanted to get with an ex-girlfriend. So like he's like, I don't need that shit on your page and all that shit. I was like, okay, fine. So now it's just me.
I see. All right, yeah. So I guess there's a difference, right? Because you're kind of controlling what you put up there, and I think maybe that was your hesitation when we last spoke, which is, you wouldn't want to do any sort of like traditional like adult actressing because you want to choose, who and what you interact with, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like I want to be able to pick who's on screen with me. Like, I'm sorry, but like I don't know if it's only me or like other people like this too, but like the person has to be attractive if I'm gonna like enjoy it.
Right, for sure. And so what is it? I mean, what does it entail? Because you signed up as like a PH model, right?
Yeah.
So what does that entail? Like, is it kind of just like having like another social media platform?
Pretty much, like literally all it is so what I did is I applied and then I verified my account and then I applied for that PornHub model agency thing or whatever it's called. And then you send in an application and then you submit your bank information so that they have somewhere to like pay you or whatever. And then once they approve you, then you just start putting up all your videos or whatever. And then all the ads that go on that video, like per person, whoever watches it, then you just make money off of that ad. So like all the ad revenue comes to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Or the more people watch, the more money you get.
For sure.
The more coin.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. And I was like, why wouldn't I want to have extra income? Like, not that I'm not struggling right now with
right. But it's always good to have more.
For real. And it's like more people want to see that shit too anyway. So why not?
So what do you have like planned for that page? I think when we spoke online, you were saying it's more going to be kind of like a preview, like a teaser for what you have for your OnlyFans, or is it going to be like its own separate thing? Or you have big plans for that?
I mean, honestly, I haven't really like thought about it all the way through. Just like I thought that I was going to have it like as OnlyFans tease, but I'm like, what if I just put some like gnarly shit on there and then people will like, they'll want to come. Maybe I could just put like short versions of like the nasty shit and then like the full versions on my OnlyFans. I don't know. Maybe something like that. I haven't really thought it all the way through. It's just, I'm more wanting to get more exposure. Like the more views, the better.
And, have you been doing well so far on there? Because every time you kind of update, it seems like you're, getting more views, getting more, I guess like a higher rank or whatever.
Yeah, I know, like literally. So I don't remember what it started out as, but it was like a really high number. And then within like the first week, I got down to like the 11K, like out of all the models on the platform. And then recently I just hit like 995 or something like that, 9,500 on the model rank. So like we're already below the 10K. So that's doing great.
Yeah. That kind of blew up quicker than your OnlyFans, right?
Exactly. So I'm like, see how much PornHub is like such a better exposure or whatever it's called, like website. Like I feel
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's because like same thing with me. I didn't want to sign up for anything. You know what I mean? And so, like, just being able to just pop on and I guess anonymously being a pervert or whatever. Like it helps you out, and there's no like barrier, like, oh, I have to put in credit card information or anything like that, right? So I think that's probably why that platform is so much more beneficial. But again, it's one of these things I know nothing about, so I was just curious, like, how does that work? But it does seem like, for anybody interested in jumping into that realm, that it's more lucrative as far as money goes, right? I don't know if you would suggest that for anybody that is on OnlyFans but doesn't have the Pornhub account or whatever. Like they should probably do it in tandem, or one or the other. What would you suggest to somebody looking to get into that whole realm?
It really depends on your goals. Because my goals are just to get more views. Like, it doesn't really matter about the subs or the money to me. Like, obviously I care about people watching it, but like, I just want to be like known. So what was the question? I can't believe I forgot it right in the middle.
Yeah. For anybody looking to get into like, doing their own like adult stuff like that, would you recommend, just having one profile, having both of them in tandem? What works for you, but what would you suggest to somebody who might be, kind of listening right now and thinking about getting into it, but it might be a little hesitant?
If they want to, I suggest both, like OnlyFans and Pornhub, because you get money for both. But I just don't like, the only part that I don't like about Pornhub is that like they make you put the ID of every single person that's in your video. So like even the dudes that you mess with, you have to put their ID. And I get it, because like obviously you don't want no like child issues like that, right. So like I get it, but it's like it's so shitty at the same time. OnlyFans kind of works like that as well, but yeah, but if people want to do it, why not? And like for me,
Mhm.
I don't give a fuck. So like I set mine to like Calgary, like people know where I'm from, even on that website. Like I don't give a fuck, right? Even
Mhm.
like people in my city could watch it. But like for girls that want to be more private or whatever, they can still like put the block on their country or like province or state or whatever. They can like still block where they're from if they don't want people from their city to see it. But
I
if you
see.
want extra coin, why not, right?
So the dude that was in your first posted video, you had to get his ID and send it to the website.
So what had happened was,
Aha.
so it got demonetized because I didn't tag him because obviously I don't have his information and he blocked me. So I can't reach out to him anyway. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll just take the loss on that one. But like the other videos that I have, they're solo. They're still doing pretty good. Like one video I posted, it already has 1K views. And I was like, damn, it's only been like a week.
Mhm. So yeah, I mean, I think that's a good thing, though, that they're using those kind of measures, though, because from what I understand, there was recently, in the news, the company was in the news because they removed, I think, thousands upon thousands of videos of suspected, minors or situations where there's some sort of, implied or just explicit rape, and
Yeah, for sure. Like, cause you can't really show that it's consented, right?
mhm. Yeah, or no, they would like even put it in the titles of those videos apparently that it was, rape or whatever because people get off on that shit.
I think that's so gross. But I know
Mhm.
I get like emails from Pornhub, like not like from the model part, but like just emails in general of like the trafficking and stuff, trying to like take down the sex trafficking of Pornhub. Cause like
Mhm.
that shit's nasty.
It's kind of crazy, you think of them as like this kind of, wacky, like deviant type of thing, but their morals are so high now.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like they care about the models. Like that's
Uh-huh.
what's making them money, right?
Hmm. No, right. You got to take care of the golden geese there. Right.
I've never heard that term.
Or the golden vaginas, we'll say, right?
Oh my god.
Whatever works, whatever works best. You
Whatever
know,
works.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, good luck with all of that. I think again, it just you're giving us a glimpse into it, and I honestly think these things are intriguing. Like I like to ask about how the money works or how the process works. I think a lot of people have those wonders. Um, but again, I wanted to ask because you mentioned it yourself. You're very open with it. You don't mind putting your area and everything. Is this one of those things that you want to keep like separate and private from your real life?
I only want to just keep it separate from like my family. That's
Mhm.
the only people, but like friends, my work, I don't give a fuck. Like I feel like I
I
honestly
see.
think that my real job knows that I have OnlyFans. So because they see
Hmm.
that I post half naked shit anyway. So I
uh,
don't think they give a fuck.
it's funny. I don't know if I mentioned it on the last time we were on, but every single job I've been in, like whether it's working at a bar or restaurant, nightclub, whatever, or even in the schools that I've worked at, for the most part, or not for the most part, but at least a few. Somebody has been caught online, like naked. you know,
Really?
yeah, and I think if it's out there, people will find it. Um,
Word, I'm not really worried. I mean, I feel like somehow I'm gonna always make money
yeah, for
somehow.
sure. Yeah. I mean, and the risks of what you're doing anyway, so it's like it's a controlled risk.
Word, like I can control, like I can delete stuff too. So
Hmm.
or I could just try to, not that I'm going to, but if I really wanted to make it that private, I could just put a sub price and then people just have to pay to like subscribe. But I don't really do that because I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah. So I mean, your immediate family definitely don't want. I mean, do you think they have any inkling, any like even just a hint of like, I think she's into that.
No, not even close. I don't think so. Cause like I know that my mom, she's like, she really like frowns upon that type of stuff. But like I'm gonna live my life. I'm only here for however long. Like, I don't live with her anymore. I'm an adult, so like I'm making my own decisions. So what can she do anyways? Like she could be mad at me or disappointed, but that's not gonna affect me because I don't give a fuck. Like I live my own life. She's not there every day, so you know, why would I care?
No, for sure. Like I said, just, wanted to see like your take on that and whatnot. I don't know if you got like the nosy aunts and uncles or something, kind of be like, I think she's on the internet doing so and so,
I mean, I'm pretty sure some of my cousins know, but nobody said anything, so I don't get, like it doesn't really affect me. I mean, I don't really plan on seeing them anytime soon, so
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's throw the link out there for people. How can they find you on your new endeavor on PornHub?
I just go to my Instagram and then go to the link in the bio because like I don't remember the exact website link, so I just have it in the link tree in my bio in my Instagram.
What was your Instagram? Give me, you changed it, right?
Yeah, it was Victoria Cat 1997, but cat with a K.
Right, definitely. So yeah, check that out. And I wanted to now switch gears a little bit, well, a lot, because it's a completely different subject. and I think we established last time that you're a big time MMA fan. You like to train. You're hoping to be competitive at some point. But have you been keeping up with the UFC and boxing and all kinds of other stuff?
I heard that Francis wants to fight Jones and Fury. Oh, sorry. And then who Diego Sanchez got released.
Yeah.
And then
we'll go ahead. Right now. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually so shocked. I was like, oh, like I legit gasped. I'm like, but they were just talking about his last fight. Like, what do you mean they let him go?
And he was gonna fight Cerrone, right?
I think so.
Yeah, Cowboy.
That would have been so dope. They both like go hard. I don't know. I feel like go ahead.
I think that guy's got mental issues though. Like he's complete his brain is complete mush at this point.
What? That's so mean.
No, I mean it's like I mean that from the point of view where he's probably taking too much damage to the brain, like he's gotten beat up bad so many times. And there's when it comes to like your brain and CTE and everything, there's only so much you can take, before you start showing signs of deterioration. If you look at him from his first appearance on the Ultimate Fighter, the reality show, right? Was he a little weird? Yes. He was still kind of in control of his faculties, like now he just seems so far gone. And I don't know what it has to do with the whole like, hey, now I'm a man of God thing. He's always kind of been that way. He's always been kind of spiritual, but I mean, sometimes you can't even understand what the hell he's saying, Maybe
he has some sort of like, sorry, my throat's very, sorry, I sound really different right now, but like, I don't know. I just think that maybe it's some sort of kink that he has. Like he just can't get enough of it. Like maybe he's willing to die by fighting, like it's all or nothing.
I think he is. I mean, there's a couple times there where I thought he did die in the cage, but he also was released though in part because I guess his manager or his trainer, right, is kind of a psycho.
I honestly didn't hear about that. I didn't really read into it because I was just too busy doing other stuff. But like I saw that and I was like, that's so sad. I thought he had one more fight, but
yeah,
I have no idea. I mean, it would not surprise me if he's coming from. Does he train out of John Jones's camp? I can't remember.
I'm not sure. I think he moved completely away and is doing his own thing, but he has like apparently this manager or trainer or whatever that speaks for him. And I guess really causes a division between he and the UFC because I don't know, they agreed to pay him his full fight purse plus a win bonus, and then he just parted ways, so it's kind of a weird situation there.
It is weird.
I'm kind of relieved though because like I said, I don't think he should be fighting anymore, but at the same time I don't know because he's probably going to go jump on board and do something like, bare knuckle boxing, which is even worse for him.
Oh, I thought he might go to like one or Bellator or like PFL or something like that. Like, why wouldn't they take such a legend, you know?
I agree. I mean, it's he's just so bad at this point mentally, I think. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like you should just let people do it till like if they're willing to suffer for it, why would you stop them? I mean, it's not your body, right?
Yeah, but at some point, like, how do I put it? Once they take enough damage, they lose control of their mind. They can even get like, early dementia and stuff like that. So you
I
really
feel like, but like, wouldn't you rather have known that you gave it your all when you're old and like in that stage, like rather than being like you stay safe and you be like, I wish I would have went further, you know? Like I kind of just see it like everybody gets old eventually and everybody has to deal with these issues anyway. So like, why not just go hard as long as you can? Like fuck it when you're old.
because at the end of the day, your quality of life will be so shitty to the point where you don't even know how to wipe your own ass.
Well, like if I ever got to that point, I'd ask somebody to take me out. Like I would not want to live that long.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. We don't want like Diego Sanchez to get to that point, as fans.
I don't either. I don't wish that on any fighter. I mean,
Yeah.
who was it? Wasn't there somebody that just had an issue? Not Nick Diaz. I can't remember. I feel like this random story is like in my brain right now, but whatever.
Speaking of Diaz, your boy's fighting soon, right?
I think so. I mean, I heard rumors with Hamzat Makachev or Chimaev, sorry. And like that's going to be a dope ass fight. I feel like they're going to go hard. Like I don't know. Nick Diaz looks pretty sexy, so.
Do you think he still got it?
Oh yes, of course. I mean, he didn't look the best against Anderson Silva, but like if he's been training the whole time, especially if he's been helping out Nathan, like why wouldn't he have grown a bit more? Like I don't think he ever stopped working out or like ever stopped training because that's his way of life, right?
Yeah, I mean, at least physically, he's always been involved in something, be it triathlons or like, just keeping his brother in shape for fights and whatnot. But I mean, I think there is some sort of rust when you haven't actually fought for years, and I think it's almost been a decade for him, right? It's been like 8 years.
2013 was when he fought. So what? That's like 9 years. I think.
Dang. Yeah. I'm like, that's a long time 8 years. Yeah. But I mean,
oh, I had it wrong. Sorry.
Because it's different. I mean, as it's different sparring at like, 50% and actually going, head to head, full on, full contact, no holding back, and so
True.
I mean, I'm just curious to see how he does. I think anytime he's in there, a lot of people will watch because of the the personality that he brings to the table and whatnot. Sometimes the controversy. I wonder if he'll still be like that, that shit talker and really engage people in what's going on. I don't know. We'll see. And even if it happens, I'm curious to see that.
Word, like I honestly feel like he might not go as hard on the shit talking because like he's 36 or 37 now. I don't think he's gonna go hard with like talking shit. He just wants to get an easy payday, and he knows that he's a big star, so he's gonna get what he came for.
He's only 36, 37?
I think so. He's like
wow.
What? I think is he 13 years older? I think he's 13 or 10 years older than me.
I gotta Google this because I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, I think he's 36 or 30, maybe 35.
Yeah, 37.
Wow. Oh, yes. Yeah, he just turned 37 on August of last year. So he'll be 38 this year.
But like, that's not even that old. Like what's crazy to me is when I think of Nick Diaz, I think of a generation or two behind in MMA, right? I'm talking about the generation with like Matt Hughes, with like Tito Ortiz and, Chuck Liddell. Right. So that's like a couple generations behind in MMA. Right. So he's been doing it for quite a while. I guess, he really was like the young guy back then.
He was so hot. I mean, before I started watching him, he already retired, but I managed to catch him right when he fought Anderson in 2013. But word, I mean, I don't think it's old, but it's old for the fight game, apparently.
Right. Yeah. I mean, even if you have like anybody who has like 30 fights in MMA, that's considered like a seasoned old fighter, even if they're not numerically, old, like if they're like, sometimes, they're barely even like 32 and they have like, 30 fights or so. That's like MMA age is like sped up like a dog,
Word, for real.
Yeah.
All these new bloods coming in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, honestly, maybe Nick Diaz's opponent comes out. Maybe he'll win because he has more strength. But also, he is coming back from COVID, so maybe that kind of fucked him up as well. So it'd be interesting. Man.
These Eastern European fighters, though, are fucking vicious.
I know. It's insane. I'm like, Nick Diaz could definitely take a punch, though. He could definitely take a beating.
Yeah, like, what's it? I can't even pronounce it. Chimaev? That's it?
Chimaev?
Yeah.
That's how Chael Sonnen says it, so.
That's who he's slated to fight. And is he a training partner of Khabib? Like Khabib?
I think so. Isn't he part of his family, or is he just training partner?
Like cousins? Are they like cousins or something?
I think so. But he has like so many cousins in the UFC. It's like hard to keep up.
So like they're fucking killers, And I don't know if you watched, last night's UFC on was it on ESPN?
Fight night. I think it was Fight Night. But I didn't catch it because I completely forgot. And I was like, fuck, next time.
There was this dude from the Czech Republic with the little like ponytail standing up thing. Vicious, just like he just beat the shit out of what's his name? Now I'm going blank here. That we beat in the main event. It slipped my mind. But anyway, just vicious elbows, and the guy just looked like a completely different fighter. And just, I mean, it's kind of funny how it's cyclical in MMA. You see sometimes the American fighters pick it up, right, and they're tough and they're dominating. And then sometimes it's the Brazilians, right, and then, it's like all these Eastern European fighters and Africans too.
Oh yeah,
a lot of the I think 2 of them are champions. Right?
I thought it was 3. There's Kamaru, Israel, and Francis.
Duh. Yeah, 3. I cut them short there. Yeah, 3 of them are champions, So that's kind of crazy because you've never seen that before,
Word. I think it's dope. I mean, it's nice to not always have an American, because I swear, like, it was a lot of Americans when it started out.
Yeah, like I said, a couple generations ago, the American wrestler was the dominant fighter. Like I said, Matt Hughes, T. Ortiz, Chuck Liddell, even though he didn't use his wrestling as much,
Chael Sonnen,
yeah. I mean, even though he always kind of blew the big one.
Oh well, he's still dope.
Yeah, he was still up there. But how about have you been keeping up with because we're speaking of MMA in this kind of same world, have you been keeping up with any sort of boxing?
No, I don't really follow boxing because it's not really that interesting to me. But can we just talk about Chris Weidman's disgusting, terrible break? I can't. I literally like gasped when I saw it.
Yeah, that was, oh man. So ironic too, because
I know. Exact same way. Oh my God, I felt so bad.
I just couldn't watch that. I was like, it broke instantly. You see the bone peek through.
Oh.
And then he steps on it and it folds.
Oh. I know. He literally posted a statement about like the details of his injury, and I'm like, I could have gone my whole life not reading this. It was so gross. I literally like almost threw up. I was like,
I mean, when I saw it happen to Anderson Silva against Weidman, I was like, dang, that's like so unfortunate, But to now see, I'm like, there's got to be. He must have sold his soul to the devil or something.
Maybe Anderson put a voodoo on him because he was mad that it happened to him.
Yeah, I was saying Weidman must have sold his soul to the devil and said, like, let me just break this fucker's leg, and now it just came back to him.
It's just so crazy. Like, what are the chances that it happens to the same dude, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's nuts. I mean, because you hardly ever see that in MMA. It's not like it's happening every single, every other fight. I mean, that's happened 3 times. Once to Anderson Silva, now to Weidman, and I think the first one that I saw was a tall, skinny guy. Was it Corey Hill?
I have no idea. Honestly, I didn't know that another person other than them had it. To be honest.
Yeah, I think that was the first one. But that break is always nasty to see.
It's so gross.
that UFC card is actually really good, though. I was really impressed because I was a bigger fan maybe 10 years ago. I used to watch every single pay-per-view, would go to any of the California or Vegas shows.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, I ended up spending too much money on that stuff. But now it's just so it's so many fights. Like it's like a different fight every week. It's so hard to
I know. Like that's why sometimes I forget because I'm like, it's not always hyped up every single week. So like sometimes I forget, but
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I was just saying, make sure to watch all the big ones, Like
Word, I mean, sometimes the prelims are pretty dope as well. Like the past couple of cards for the prelims have been pretty entertaining to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that last pay-per-view was really interesting. Like the entire card, you had the women's championship fights that were really interesting. You had that nasty leg break. You even had that other fight that ended weird with the leg kick.
Oh yeah, when his whole nerve just went dead, and then poor guy, I felt so bad for him. He was trying so hard to just act like it wasn't the problem, but that foot was just given out, and I was like, oh my god, that's so sad. I hope that they do a rematch because that's kind of unfair.
Yeah, and then you have the big knockout at the end where Masvidal got his ass handed to him.
Right, and I was telling everybody quit sleeping on the Nigerian Nightmare because he's the king of welterweight division, right? And then everybody's like, I'll bet you anything Jorge will win. I'll bet you. And I was like, okay, pay up. As soon as he got knocked out, I was like, pay up, host.
Yeah, I think Masvidal has just kind of been at the right place, right time, and he's really hyped himself up, but he's not on the same level as Usman.
Honestly, I think maybe Colby could beat Jorge, to be honest.
You think so?
Honestly, I mean, if you saw how hard it went with Colby and Kamaru, I don't know. I feel like Colby has more inner strength and mental strength to push through. I don't know. Maybe that's my personal opinion.
Well, I think he's better matched against somebody like Masvidal than he would be against Usman again,
Word for sure. Definitely. But I mean, I don't really care to see the second fight, but I mean, I would watch it for the Colby and Kamaru one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, that's an interesting. They're all interesting divisions right now. That's the thing, we're very, very curious to see what happens with the light heavyweight division. There's a lot of contenders there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Heavyweight is looking really interesting too because, who
John
gets
Jones.
Yeah, I mean, does John Jones come in, or who gets that title shot? Do you give it to what's his name? The Black Beast.
Derek Lewis.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I kind of want I want to see John Jones against Francis more, to be honest, because I just love John in general. So I don't know. Any chance to watch him fight? Why wouldn't I choose that?
Do you think it's a money thing with him, or what's going on that he doesn't want to come back?
Maybe he just wants to challenge himself and try to get a double belt as well. Maybe go down in history as not just the only person that never lost his belt by defeat. You know what I mean? But maybe he just wants to be like Daniel Cormier, but in his own way.
Yeah, I see. Well, hopefully see him back. Last thing I want to check in on with the whole like world here, right? And this is kind of a sore subject with a lot of MMA fans, right? But the whole I guess circus show that is, those Triller shows with the Paul brothers. What do you think about that?
I mean, honestly, if you saw how Ben looked compared to Jake, obviously the more athletic person's going to win, but like, honestly, it's like people aren't there to see a concert. They're there to see the fighters. Like, I just feel like they're trying to like make people tune in longer for more money for their sake or some. I don't understand it. I just like, it was cool to see Doja Cat, but like, I don't really give a fuck,
Do you think that the outcome was legitimate, or was that a work? Did they kind of just pull one over on everybody?
I don't know. I feel like maybe they actually did take it seriously. I think that was a legitimate knockout because, like, I don't know. Ben kind of looked a little slow. I'm not trying to be rude, but I don't know. It just seemed like Ben was more active that night and more ready to go.
Mm. Yeah, a lot of people are calling foul and saying that it was rigged.
Really? I didn't see it from that way, but like, who knows at the same time? The ref had to stop it. So like, I just don't see how you challenge that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, I thought Ben Askren would do a lot better in MMA, because in Bellator he was tearing it up, and I think who was in one as well, right?
Yeah, he was the one championship champ for a long time, and then he came to UFC. I don't know about the Bellator stuff, but yeah, he was definitely. I think he was undefeated in one championship, and then he just came to UFC, and then he fought Robbie Lawler and all that.
Yeah, well, he that's where he started in Bellator. He tournaments there. He was undefeated there. Then he made his way over to one, and then he came to the UFC and looked like complete shit. Like even though he beat Lawler was whooping his ass. Yeah.
Go ahead. If you have to say stuff, still go ahead.
No, and then I said, then his next couple of fights there just completely look like shit. But I didn't think that he would fare that poorly in a fight against a YouTube guy.
Well, like, I feel like it has to do something with their corner because, like, look at how many Tyron Woodley has lost, and they train together. So it's like maybe it's something in their camp.
I don't, I don't know. It's so weird because Askren is, he knows better. He's Olympic level, NCAA All-American level athlete. But when he went to go weigh in, he looked like shit. I
know, right? Maybe he didn't take it as seriously as he should have. Like, maybe he thought that Jake had no chance to even catch him. Maybe he just, he expected, what is that word? Underestimated him. That's the word.
Maybe that's it. Yeah. Cause I didn't pay for it, but
same.
I'm like, I'm not going to pay for that shit.
Right.
When I saw the results, I'm like, no fucking way. I'm like, this is embarrassing. Because like this guy, I guess, not to be a hater, but this guy's just annoying. Everybody they hate the Paul brothers, because they're just like the epitome of, entitled white kids from America, like
the only reason I don't support Jake Paul is just, how would I ever know 100%? But like, I've read a few accusations of him like forcing girls to do sexual acts that they weren't like wanting to do, and they never consented to it. And it's like, I cannot support somebody like that,
Yeah. And I don't know. I've never heard of that, but just kind of given the type of personalities that they give off, I wouldn't doubt it,
like they hang out with like Tana Mojo and like Lana Rhodes. So it's like, I don't know, maybe they're just all problematic people, and then they all just like hype each other up, and then they make it more outrageous, I feel like it's a lot for the camera.
Hmm. What do they even do? I don't know how they kind of rose to prominence and fame on YouTube because I have no idea what they do. I've only heard their names because of the freak show fights they've been taking.
To be honest, I didn't ever know who Paul and Jake were. Paul and Jake, Jake and Logan were until I saw that video of Logan where he like went to the suicide forest in
Mm.
Japan and like he showed the dead person or whatever. And then Jake, I didn't even know there was two of them until I like saw Tana Mojo getting married to him and shit like that, right? And then I think it's just because he and Logan had posted YouTube videos, I don't know what, doing stupid shit or pranks or some shit. And then they just posted every single day for like years and years and years. And then that's how they gained their following.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like this whole and hopefully, you get a good following on there too. But this whole YouTube thing for me is like it's crazy how so many people that in my opinion are not interesting, you know, get like a huge following. And it's not just, because I don't know. I don't really find those Paul brothers interesting at all, but even other people on YouTube, like, guys that just play video games and shit, with the most boring monotone voices. I'm like, how do they have millions of plays and uh you know thousands of followers and whatnot? I'm like, it's confusing to me. But hey, what people like.
Word, I also think like it really depends, not every single person, but like for the Paul brothers, I think it's also because like they're both handsome, like they both are good looking men. So like I don't know, they're that typical tall white boy that's like jacked and they're just like,
I see.
you know what I mean? I don't know how else to describe it. Like Tana Mojo, like she's not the best role model, but she's got probably one of the biggest followings on YouTube because she's a hot ass bitch.
Oh, and that you said that's one of their wives.
So like Jake and Tana, they decided to get married for clout, and then they got fake married, and then they got fake
uh
divorced and all that shit, and like they did it just to get so much clout and so much money. And now I think they still chill sometimes. Like the recent thing that I heard is like some hoe was in Jake's DMs and then Tana was like calling her out or some shit. And then this girl was like calling out Tana and like they were having some beef. And I'm like, dude, this hoe needs to get out of Jake's DMs because like, that's Tana's man.
Well, I mean, I don't know any of their business, but I think you just explained it to the yeah. But it's
You're
a
welcome.
crazy, yeah, it's a crazy world there with YouTube and whatnot. I'm like I don't think I'm that old, but I feel so much older when I hear, who some of these people are. I'm like, I have no idea who you are.
It's
It
because
is.
their followings they're literally like 18-year-olds to like I don't know 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds, like literally their
Mm,
whole fan base is children, and
uh,
some are her age.
huh. Well, that's a different world. I'll leave that to them. But
Word same.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, we'll leave it at that as far as the MMA talk, and hopefully, if there's another big card out there, or maybe after, if your boy Diaz ends up fighting, we'll check it again.
For real,
Um,
I'll bet on him for sure.
yeah. But anything else you want to throw out there to the podcast world for your second appearance now?
I want to shout out the Lighting Brothers Alberta on Instagram and YouTube
Mm,
because they shouted me out in their podcast the last time. So I'll just do that here as well. And
nice.
then I think just myself, if you want to check out my my Pornhub and my OnlyFans, you can go to the Victoria Cat 1997 on Instagram.
Mhm.
That's all I have to say.
All right, perfect. Well, again, like I said, we will have any opportunity. Like, well, I mean, I asked you back on, but if you ever want to come back on and say like, hey, I've got this important thing to, plug, or I really want to talk about this fight, like, you're always
Oh,
welcome.
cool.
We'll get
Dope.
you. We'll get you back on at some point. I bet. I bet.
Sounds good. Sounds
Yeah.
dope. Can't
But
wait.
yeah, for sure. But other than that, everybody listening at home, appreciate it. Thank you. Fuck you and good night. subscribe to the Ignorance is Strength podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Like, follow, and share on Facebook and Instagram at Ignorance is Strength Podcast and on Twitter at The Ignorance Pod.